the set, BK. I wanted to get that on there. Hey, hello, everyone. I'm G-Man. That there's T-Money. Welcome to the March 2nd Father, Son, and Holy Spirit weekly podcast. The NFL Scouting Combine begins this week. All the teams need to be cap compliant by the start of the league in just 2 weeks away. Coaching staffs, agents, and players will be meeting this week in Indianapolis, baby. Indy's where it's going down. Talking rosters and trades and seeing some people run the 40, T-Money. Hey, lots going to happen in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah. Excited. You're out there in the Midwest. I'm out here in the Cloffice in San Francisco, where a lot of these new young coaches aren't going to the combine anymore. Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, some of these guys have said they're not going, but exciting time for us fans to watch and see who just dominates athletically on another level.
Well, Sean McVay doesn't have to go. He doesn't have any picks.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding, but just kind of, little joke there. But hey, top 6 fastest 100-yard dashes. You want to see the fastest guys run? Tomorrow at 4 p.m., 3 of the top 6. Sunday at 2 p.m., maybe you're open then. This is Eastern. The other 3 fastest 100-yard dashes. So, hey, guess who the fastest, 40-yard dash. Guess who the fastest 40-yard dash ever at the Combines was?
Well, when you look at the tape, it looks like Chris Johnson, but the real fastest was an eventual Bengal drafted wide receiver, John Ross, out of Washington.
What?
Come on.
I love that. And you know his time, T-Money.
4.22.
4.22 is right. T-Money. Why are you not on ESPN, man?
That's a great question. Whoever's listening, put in a petition for me.
And if you don't do that, ladies and gentlemen, hey, just press the like and subscribe. We love that too. We appreciate the support. Hey, I'm G-Man. I got T-Money here with me, bringing you football energy with the March 2nd edition of the NFL Rundown. It's a special segment of the Father, Son, and Holy Sport Podcast Network, and brought to you by our friends at OneWise IQ. Hey, T-Money, let's talk about some of these coaching hires today. And I'm going to start off with the Bears, man. The Bears bring in Matt Eberflusk, 51-year-old, coming from the Colts. What do you think, man, in terms of that coaching hire? Do you love it, like it, or hate it?
I hate it. Hate it.
Ooh.
Hate it. What was the best part about the Bears team the past 3-4 years? It's their defense. Their defense doesn't need help right now. It's their offense. And what's your number one priority as a franchise right now if you're the Bears? And that's Justin Fields. Justin Fields is what you needed to go out and get a new offensive coach for. Matt Nagy was not cutting it, and the offense was struggling. And it struggled under Mitch Trubisky too, when the defense was still elite, getting that team to the playoffs with Akeem Hicks and all those boys. All right. They have Khalil Mack. They have a great defense. That's not where they need help. The problem is a lot of these young guys get these defensive head coaches, and then they get good OCs, and they have one good year, and that OC gets hired as a head coach, and he's gone. Right? Now you're just constantly on the hamster wheel of learning new offenses. Nobody was looking for this guy. No one was going to hire Matt Eberflusk from the Colts other than the Bears. I'm not sure why they did it. They didn't need him, and they didn't address their number one priority.
Well, I don't know if I totally agree with that, but I like your points, T-Money. But the Colts did have a good defense. He did a good job. He can bring that to it. And they bring in Luke Getsy, who is the quarterback that coached Aaron Rodgers for LaFleur. So he's coming in with that, I'm able to coach, a future Aaron Rodgers kind of thing for Justin Fields. So can Getsy, along with Eberflusk, do it? So for that reason, I like it. And also, the other reason I like this is they got a shot of winning this division if they can pick up that offense a little bit, because Green Bay loses Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion. I don't think he's staying. And the Bears have a shot at maybe winning this division.
All right. I mean, I guess You're looking best case scenario here, and I feel like I'm more of a realist. And
Well,
like I
better
said,
than Matt Nagy. Let me tell you that.
I'm just saying that the QB coach for Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Aaron Rodgers doesn't need an offensive coordinator, let alone a QB coach. He's already an MVP with or without whoever the hell this offensive coordinator that the Colts just hired is. So that's my point is you didn't address the offense. The defense was unnecessary. Congrats on being good at the Colts, where the Colts already had a good defense and you being there was probably unnecessary. So I just think like, what have you really done? I'm sure he's a nice guy. And I'm going to preface that I'm sure all these guys are nice guys. Okay. Cause I'm going to tear into a lot of them. But I don't think you address number one priority.
Well, I like the move. I like the move, getting rid of Nagy, bringing this guy in. It's definitely a step up. And if Rodgers leaves, these guys are going to be in contention. So overall, G-Man likes it.
All right. All right. Well, let's move on to Denver. What do you think about their new head coach, Nathaniel Hackett, coming from Aaron Rodgers again in Green Bay? Do you like it, love it, or hate it?
I like it. I like it. And if Aaron Rodgers comes to Denver, I'm going to love it, T-Money. This would make Denver Super Bowl relevant. So bringing in this team here that's connected to Aaron Rodgers, they're trying to make a move here to get Rodgers to come on by because they got all the other pieces. They bring in Rodgers, this thing's going to fly. Yeah, I like Nathaniel Hackett coming in. They got a new offensive coordinator that can come in here. And with Hackett, I like it. What do you think of it?
I love it. Let me, I'm on the fence here, right? I love it if he gets Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
that's great.
Too.
I love it if you get Aaron Rodgers. If you don't, I hate it. Because once again, you brought in a guy here. And look, I give Denver credit, and this is where I might like it. They didn't need a good defense. They had a good defense. They didn't need to bring in a DC as their head coach. So they went after a guy who's been an OC for a successful quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. But a lot of time, especially Denver right now, your goal is to get Aaron Rodgers. Worst case scenario, who's your quarterback? Drew Lock, Teddy Bridgewater? Well, who would you compare those guys to? Maybe Blake Bortles? Maybe Tyrod Taylor? Well, that's who Nathaniel Hackett had when he was the OC at the Jags and the Bills, and they both had atrocious offenses when he was the OC without a legendary quarterback. So I just want to preface it with like, it's all great when everyone has Patrick Mahomes. It looks awesome when Tom Brady is your quarterback. But if you don't have Aaron Rodgers, Nathaniel Hackett, I don't know if I love you or like you.
Well, I think they're making the moves. They're getting younger. They're bringing in some new talent. They got the Rams secondary coach, Evero. He also could go there. So they're bringing in a lot of great guys. They're trying to recruit Rodgers and bring him in because I'm telling you, Matt, Rodgers is not staying. I don't know what he's going to do. He could retire. But I'm saying that they're making the moves. They're being aggressive, and I like that. They're not going to win this division. I mean, I don't care if they get Rodgers or not. They're not winning this division. Kansas City still got this division. The Denver could probably pass the other guys.
Okay.
Hey, let's go on to Vegas, man. Same division. They bring in Josh McDaniels, 45. He's only 45. What do you think, man? Do you love it, like it, or hate it?
Josh McDaniels, I hate it. I'm over this Josh McDaniels is genius train.
That's what it seems like. He's been around forever, but the guy's only 45.
I know. And look, he already went to Denver and was not good. And maybe that's because he got it young. He was in his 30s, young guy, not ready to be a head coach. Then he flaked on the Colts. He was on the tarmac in Indy and rebutted, rebuked his, I'm going to be your head coach.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think he would have been off waiting at the Patriots and waiting for Bill to retire. But I'm just sick of him getting all the attention because Tom Brady happened to be his quarterback. Tom Brady's proven he can go to anyone and now win a Super Bowl. So who's Josh McDaniels? Like Brady just went down and dominated with a different OC. The Raiders were
Well,
already a playoff team. Why are you bringing in a gamble of a guy who was unsuccessful as a head coach 1.5 times if you count the Colts? I think you could have just gone with a guy that was a solid hire and someone everyone could rally around. They didn't need offense. This is another thing. What are your needs? You have Derek Carr, maybe a top 12 guy in the league. You don't need an OC, some guru of an OC, because you have a young QB or you don't have someone in place. You need a defensive guy on the Raiders. They're
they
giving
had
up
some
the most
offensive
pass
issues
yards.
also.
They're giving up the most pass yards in the NFL basically the past couple of years. I hate it. I'm off the Mcdaniels train to begin with, and I don't think they addressed a need.
Hey, man, I'll tell you what I do. I love it, man. I love this one. I think it's going to be successful. The Raiders, can they contend? They were 10-7 this year. This is a step up, in my opinion, for this team. Step up. They got Mcdaniels to come in. They got GM Dave Ziegler,
Exactly.
former Belichick's director of player personnel. So they're bringing these two guys. And now you've got Mcdaniels, who's had tremendous success on offense. Outside of a couple of years, he's always had a top 10 offense built around the run, but a passing attack that focuses on what? The slot receiver and the tight end. Who's the slot receiver?
Renfro,
you know who it is. Your
Yep.
man Renfro. And who's the tight end? Waller.
Okay.
It used to be Edelman and Gronkowski. Now it's going to be Renfro and Waller. He knows how to put those resources together and move the offense down the field. I think he's going to be successful in his second run here at the coaching job. And I'll tell you what, the Colts made a mistake, man, getting Reich in there instead of McDaniels, because Reich is not good.
He'll probably be gone after this year, let's be honest. But hey, I kind of agree with you with that. He's got the right scheme. He was definitely hired because Ziegler was his college roommate, I'm almost certain. When they first started at the Patriots, they were both low level interns basically on the Patriots. So they're really good friends. So I'm pretty sure when the GM was hired, he's like, look, I'm hiring McDaniels. That's who it's going to be. So it was kind of a package deal with those guys. So
good. Well,
so
GMs like to bring in their coach. So, all right, I like that.
So let's move on to the next coach here. And that's the Dolphins' new head coach, Mike McDaniel, second McDaniel here. What do you think? Like it, love it, or hate it?
I got to go hate on this one, man. Hate this one. The former 49ers offensive coordinator, a little bit young here at 38. I mean, they're trying to get someone in there that can relate to Tua. I just don't think it's a step up. Is he better than Flores? No. Is San Fran's offense that good? Not really. Has Trey Lance developed? No. So what's this guy bringing to the game? I don't know, man. He's going to pick up a great resource in Waddle that he can use like Debo. So he can do the Debo thing with Waddle. That'll work. But I just think overall I hate it.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the borderline with you. I had hate it written down at the beginning for a lot of the same reasons you have. But I'm going to go like it. Like, look, who the hell is this guy? I have no idea who this guy is. Like, he's come out of the woodwork. I think 15 years ago, he was in like finance or something. Like, supposedly, though, everyone talks highly about this guy. Yeah. Every article you read, every quote from every coach, he's some genius. Right?
I know.
So Sean McVay, this guy, LaFleur, and Kyle Shanahan were all on the same team together in Washington when they were coaching for the Redskins a few years back. And everyone said that this guy was the smartest guy in the room, supposedly. All of them have been quoted saying that, which is insane. Now, everyone's looking for the next Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan, these 30-year-old coaches. He's only 38. But so let's take a chill pill on this guy being the next genius. Like, he's been a coordinator for 1 year, Right. So I have a feeling.
I said I hate it.
Well, the only reason I like it is because everyone in the NFL seems to love him. So I'm trying to get drugged that way. And I have a feeling that this guy's going to come bite me in the ass soon because they have a pretty decent team. And if he is some offensive genius that they think, like, maybe he gets Tua going. I don't know. Tua's probably farther along than Trey Lance, Who knows?
Yeah. But I just look at the whole picture. Is he better than Flores? I mean, they kind of just messed this whole thing up, man. I don't know if they're in a better spot than they would have been. And they ended up 9-8. They got to get past New England and Buffalo to contend here. I just don't see this guy stepping them up against those other teams.
Yeah.
So, hey, man, let's go to the last one here. Last one on the board here for these coaches. Love it, like it, or hate it. Let's go down to Texas. And let's talk about Houston, man. Lovie Smith coming in, 63 years old, gets the job from the staff onto the head coaching spot. Houston coaching hire. Do you love it, like it, or hate it, T-Money?
Hate it. Congratulations on hiring David Culley 2.0. All right. You just hired the same damn guy. I guess he has a better resume because obviously he's won a Super Bowl or been to a Super Bowl.
Been to.
But yeah, been to. But you just fired David Culley and you hired a guy that's just as old and is a defensive guy and supposedly like this kind of CEO-like guy, been around the NFL forever. I mean, he's not your long-term answer. He turned 64 already. Like what? Oh yeah, you plan on having him and Deshaun Watson paired for the next 15 years? No, that's not happening. And speaking of Deshaun Watson, the year before David Culley got there, Deshaun Watson won 4 games with the Texans that season, led the league in passing and won 4 games. So he played well. David Culley had maybe the worst roster in the league and a rookie starting most of the season at quarterback in Davis Mills, who was drafted in the 3rd or 4th round. He won 4 games with the worst roster we've seen in a long time. Everyone in the locker room supposedly liked him. I thought this was a bad move because you don't know what's going on with the Deshaun Watson situation. You know, like parent head coaches with your quarterbacks long-term. I thought David Culley, the guys rallied around, give him another year or two. They're just jumping from head coach to head coach right now. And I just don't think it was a smart move. I thought you could have stuck with Culley. He deserved it. And I think you just hired the same guy back to back.
Well, I see why you're saying what you're saying. I'm agreeing with everything that you just pointed out there. I can say that, but I'm going to go to like it. I'm going to go like it. I definitely don't hate it. I think he's going to bring some experience. He's been to the Super Bowl. He has won. The guy's going to bring, that leadership, hopefully, to this team. It definitely will bring leadership to this team. I've heard him speak, man, in Columbus, Ohio. The guy's a man of faith. He puts it right out there. He's very humble, but don't mistake that for weakness, man. The guy's strong. He was a defensive coordinator, yes, but he also was a great play caller. So this guy could be a really nice leader of this team. I'm going to say I like it.
All right. I get it. I don't hate the guy. I just think like he's probably going to win 4 games because the roster's so bad. So like, was it an upgrade? Like that's what my point is why are you jumping right now? Like you don't change coaches until you're kind of on the cusp of about to break through is my point, right? You just change coaches when you're on the down. And if Deshaun Watson comes back, is he going to be like, oh my God, I can't wait to get in the room with Lovie Smith? Like, I just think that's not what he's looking for. And you could have waited. They need talent. They don't need coaching. That's what they need.
This division's interesting. You got Tennessee was 12-5. They probably should be back up there again. You got the Colts who ended up 9-8, missed the playoffs. Do they fall back? You got the Texans at 4-13 and the Jags at 3-14. Which one of those teams, Houston or Jacksonville, is going to pick up and move up and maybe contend in this thing? I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? I think a lot depends on Deshaun Watson's case coming down the pipe here soon. But yeah, the division is kind of wide open. So we'll see.
Hey, we hope you're loving the NFL Rundown. It's a special segment brought to you by Father, Son, and Holy Sport Podcast Network. If you're interested in being a guest on our NFL Rundown segment, reach out to us. The show is sponsored by Woundwise IQ. It's a patented mobile analytics software app that automatically measures and analyzes chronic and surgical wounds, and it's used by leading physicians and nurses caring for people with wounds. Just download the app from the App Store. You're ready to go. Learn more at woundwiseiq.com. Okay, hey, If you love the show, press the like and subscribe. Look for our other shows and segments and clips where you play your podcast, and look up our website. You can buy merchandise. Check us out. Father, Son, and Holy Sport.com. T-Money combines this week, baby. See T-Money and G-Man running the 40.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
All right, man. We'll see you.
Hey, I'm G-Man. I have T-Money here with you, bringing you sports energy with the March 2nd edition of the Chuggin' Chant. It's a special segment of the Father, Son, and Holy Sport Podcast Network. And hey, do us a favor, press the like and subscribe. All right, hey, let's go up to the San Francisco rooftops and see Cousin Randy for another one of his big Chuggin' Chants.
Hey, what's going on? It's Cousin Randy on this week's Chuggin' Chant up on the San Francisco rooftop. I'm going to the other coast this week. Let's get this beer down, and then I'll tell you who I'm coming for. Woo! All right. New York, coming for you. The San Fran on the east. You know it. Cousin Randy, Brian Dable, watch out, new head coach. You ain't going anywhere this year. And that's why you got to trade Saquon Barkley. You got to cut ties. I know he's an immense talent, but he's only got 1,000 yards over the past 3 years. He's too injury prone. You can get off his $7 million. You might be able to fetch a little pretty penny for him. Call up the Bills. They'd love an elite running back. You go get him traded. You save a little room. Daniel Jones, clear house. You're not going anywhere this year. Get rid of that guy. It's time to move on from Saquon Barkley. I love you. Quadzilla, Saquon, it's not your fault. You're too injury prone, but Brian Dable needs a fresh start. Daniel Jones is horrible. He ain't going anywhere behind that horrible offensive line. Time to trade Saquon Barkley. I know it's your boy, G, but what do you think? And you too, T.
And hey, Cousin Randy, man, you know that I love Saquon. I'm glad that you said G-Man loves him, because I do, and I know I can tell Cousin Randy loves him too, T-Money.
Oh, yeah?
Saquon.
I knew this would take you off.
I think he's loved by everybody. I think everybody feels for him. So it's a tough situation. If you look at his stats, you'd say, okay, this guy's, injury prone. But if he breaks out, everybody's going to say, oh, no, I knew he was going to break out. Nobody knows what's going to happen.
Yeah. I think the hardest thing about this, if I was the Giants, is I invested such a high draft pick in this guy that it's going to be tough to, and you know how talented he is. It's going to be tough to trade him away. I totally get where Cousin Randy's coming from, but man, if I'm the Giants, are you going to let that guy walk out $7 million for what could be a top 3 running back talent in the league is pretty cheap. And then you can franchise tag him. If I was them, I might let him play it out and then franchise tag him, because you franchise tag him, you're not long-term with the guy. You can see if he can stay healthy for a second year. But let me say this, there's plenty of teams on the cusp that need a running back. I mean, the Bills, like he said, they're hungry for a decent running back. The Dolphins, I mean, there's a couple of teams that you just think off the top of your head, like, oh my God, if they had any sort of running game, they would be legit. So I just think there's definitely a market out there where you could maybe squeeze a third rounder out of someone for an injury prone Saquon.
Hey, if he gets back to those levels he was at, this guy's going to be unbelievable.
I know.
What you risk that for $7 million. Hey, 2018, little stat for you, probably remember this. 2018, number 1 fantasy running back was Barkley. He had 385 fantasy points in 16 games, which was more than Jonathan Taylor had this past season in 17 games. Do you believe that?
Yeah,
that's how good he was.
He's elite. He's elite, man. That's why it's so hard to let him go. But I'm telling you, let's say he ends the season healthy. Are you, as a GM of the Giants, giving that guy a long-term deal? And
I don't know. Do we need to talk long-term deal yet? No, I need.
I'm just saying that's what you got to think about, though. That's why you would trade him.
Out of him.
That's why you would trade him. That's why you would. I'm just saying it. Hey, he has a great season. He duplicates his rookie year, but he could get injured again next year because he's so injury prone. I think I might have to agree with Cousin Randy. I would trade him, but I would hate it. But I think I'd trade him.
No, I'm not trading him. Yeah, I mean, nobody knows what's going to happen. And if he goes off, those Giants fans will hang that guy by the treetops. Joe Schoen. Joe Schoen, don't try to be cool, man, because those Giants fans will have you hanging from the rafters if you let Saquon go and he tears it up. Don't make the mistake, man. I like Randy saying get rid of Jones, though. Let's rebuild this thing because he's holding them back for sure. There's a lot of things holding
They
back
didn't
the
pick up
Giants,
his 5th year, so he'll be gone after this year.
Well, if the Giants are going to trade Barkley, it's supposed to happen soon because all the teams have to be, the cap has to be compliant by March 16th. So
yeah,
the word is if something happens, it happens in the next 2 weeks.
Yep. I could see it happening. Or maybe closer to the draft with teams that have the cap space. Like the Dolphins, I think have like 30 million in cap space. So they're already cap compliant. So I think that like teams like that are already under the cap, you can look for closer to the draft.
Giants are 12 million over the cap. Barkley's guaranteed 7 million.
So you save 7 if you trade him.
They wouldn't save any money by cutting him, but they'd save money by trading him. Exactly. I agree. So, hey, we hope you love the Chug and Chant from Cousin Randy and T Money. And it's a special segment brought to you by Father, Son, and Holy Sport Podcast Network. If you're interested in being a sponsor of the Chug and Chant or a guest chugger up there on the rooftops with Randy, let us know, man. If you love the show like we love you, press the like and subscribe. You can find all of our segments where you play your podcast and look for our website, FatherSonAndHolySport.com. On behalf of T Money, I'm G-Man. We'll see you next week.
All right. Peace.